House here at Rogers Center. For a time, the flaps were open. It looked like we'd play with the roof open too, but they've since closed it up. I'm told a large storm is on the way, so it's indoor baseball tonight from Rogers Center as you look at Terry Francona and J.D. Drew leading off for the Boston Red Sox, 54 and 34, 3 games ahead of the Yankees in first in the American League East. And Dustin Pedroia, the number 2 hitter, has 3 or more hits in a game 14 different times this year. He can be a hitting machine. He bats second for the Red Sox. A late change. Center fielder Rocco Baldelli is in. Terry Francona had to pull Jacoby Ellsbury from the lineup, so Baldelli's in batting 8th. And tonight, the Red Sox face off against a young man making a bid for the American League Rookie of the Year. And Ricky Romero's numbers are brought to you by Ford. This is Ford Today, Drive 1.
He has been a huge factor for the Jays' banged-up rotation. He started the season off nicely, had a little bit of trouble right after he came off the disabled list at the end of May, and has been outstanding in his last 8 starts. We saw the numbers in the opening here. He had his 4-game win streak snapped his last time out when he picked up a no decision at Baltimore, pitching 8 solid innings and giving up 3 runs. Here is the scouting report for Ricky Romero. He's got late life to that fastball that maxes out about 93, 94 miles an hour. A strong secondary pitches, a good curveball, and a very good changeup that he can throw at any time. And right now, when you watch him, Jamie, he has become a pitcher and not a thrower. So he understands weaknesses in batters. He follows along with his catchers, and he's been throwing and pitching beautifully of late. Here's a defense for the Blue Jays that has been very good also. DELLUCCI, Rios, and Bautista. Rolen and Scudero on the left side. Overbay at first base. Barajas behind the plate. And Aaron Hill, the All-Star, back at second base. It was a lot of fun watching him on Tuesday night.
He was walking on clouds through most of the week. A first-time All-Star. Takes his position at second base. And with J.D. Drew up as the leadoff man for the Red Sox, the Blue Jays go into a bit of a shifted defense.
A little surprised at that one. J.D. Drew has got an outstanding on-base percentage. You've got a left-hander on the mound. And now look at the defense. That's Marco Scudero, Aaron Hill, and Lyle Overbay on the right side of the infield. If he just punches the ball, what would be right at straightaway third base, you're talking extra bases.
Ricky Romero dealing for the Blue Jays, 1-1 on Drew. The Red Sox roll into town in first place. And the Blue Jays come off a terrible road trip of 10 games. They won only twice. So in a way, Pat, tonight it's a case of 2 teams. One desperately needing an all-star break. The other wishing it hadn't lasted so long.
The Red Sox were very good at the end of that first half of the season. You're right, the Blue Jays were looking for 4 days off. It's a Red Sox team now 20 games over 500. They've played very well on the road this year. And for them, it seems to be coming together.
Here's the 2-2 from Romero. It's high, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And since Drew came to the plate, Scott Rolen has moved even closer to second base. Here comes the payoff from Romero. Pitch is on the way, ball 4. He walks the leadoff man.
That is something that we have not seen from Ricky Romero over the last few starts. He has had great control. There are his numbers the last time he faced the Red Sox. That was just his 2nd start since coming off the disabled list, Jamie, and I think he had some rust that he still had to knock out of that left arm. But since then, he has really taken off. That's one of the reasons why Terry Francona put J.D. Drew at the top of that lineup. They have tried a few different leadoff batters this year. Julio Lugo, Rocco Baldelli, Jacoby Ellsbury has started there. But J.D. Drew with a great on-base percentage in his career, right about 380, has been installed in the leadoff spot, and that's what he brings to the table.
Here's a 1-1 count on second baseman Dustin Pedroia. Named to the All-Star team, but did not attend because his wife has been experiencing some difficulties with her pregnancy. He grounds to third. Rolen goes to second for one. Hill to first, but not in time to get Pedroia. So Pedroia grounds into a fielder's choice. There's one gone.
That was because the ball was not hit very hard to Scott Rolen, and he kind of had to back up on the ball. Hill with the turn at second base, but you're not going to get Dustin Pedroia. He runs too well. Ball wasn't hit very hard. The in-between hop to Rolen. He had to wait on that ball.
So Pedroia takes Drew's place at first. And now Kevin Youkilis steps in. And if you want to see a man who really grinds out the at-bats, this is him.
He has always been one of those players in all of baseball, not just the American League, that has a high pitch count per plate appearance. He is up there again this year.
Clocks this one to left field. He has smoked it, and it is up and over the wall, a home run. The third batter of the ball game goes deep against Romero, and the Red Sox lead 2-0.
He's not up there just looking for walks. If you make a mistake, Kevin Youkilis can hurt you. Home run number 17, and it looked like a breaking ball from Romero that was up. That was the problem that Ricky Romero had in his last start against the Boston Red Sox. Youkilis and Pedroia reached him for home runs in that start back on May the 31st, and the Red Sox jumped to a quick 2-0 lead here in the first.
Still just one away. The bases are clear. The defense shifts once again as David Ortiz grounds it right back to Romero, and it rolls beyond the mound. No throw from Ricky. And Ortiz is safe with an infield single.
You are not going to hear David Ortiz an infield single in the same sentence very often. This ball is just placed perfectly after it ricochets off of Romero right behind the mound, out into no man's land. Chuck and duck right there. Right back at you. No chance for Scutaro, Rolen, or Romero to get Ortiz at first base. This is a Red Sox team that has played well on the road this year. They're over 500. They have had 10 or more hits in each of their last 3 road games. And they're back at it again here tonight.
And here is the man who drives in the most runs for the Red Sox, Jason Bay, with 72 RBIs, number 1 in the American League. In fact, Canadians are 1 and 2 in that respect, with Justin Morneau right behind him.
He was talking the other day on Sunday saying that he doesn't think that the Boston Red Sox are playing their best baseball yet.
That's frightening.
It certainly is. They're 20 games over 500 as Bay swings through a breaking ball from Romero. Something to think about. You're 20 games over 500. You're in first place, and some of the players on the Red Sox feel like they haven't played their best baseball.
Now, Romero comes back with a quick strikeout there after getting a little amped up on the infield single by Ortiz. And he is one who will maintain that he often overthrows if he gets too excited. Here's Mike Lowell, and Lowell fouls it out of play.
That happened to Ricky Romero in his start on the last road trip in New York. I think he was amped up. He was fired up. He was pitching in Yankee Stadium. He was facing the Yankees. Brad Arnsberg said that he was out there just throwing it as hard as he can. And he had to go out there early in that game, if you remember, and tell him, hey, listen, start pitching. That's the Ricky Romero that I've known, that I have seen this year, where you start pitching. He told him after the game, thanks, I needed that.
One and one on Lowell, just activated today from the disabled list. He grounds it back to Romero, and he corrals this one in time to get the out. But he gives up a home run in the first inning, and it comes off the bat of Kevin Youkilis. And with a runner on, it makes it 2-0 Boston. over 10 games through New York, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore. So they are hoping the batteries are refreshed, and they'll lean on Alex Rios, who this season against the Red Sox is batting .440. Up against Clay Buchholz, the right-hander, who's back in the majors for the first time since last August.
It's been a long time for Clay Buchholz. Spent the whole year down in AAA Pawtucket. Boston's starting rotation is stocked with veterans, so this youngster had to go back down to AAA. You see the great numbers that he had down there. Terry Francona wanted to bring him up, stick him here in this game, move everybody back in that starting rotation to give them some rest. He says they're very consistent with our guys' rest. Francona also said it sets up our rotation just a little bit. We wanted to be consistent with our guys and get them the proper rest. So Tim Wakefield and Josh Beckett are going to spend 10 and 15 days between each start.
He gets strike two on one of the most pleasant surprises of the Blue Jays season. And that's Marco Scutaro, their leadoff man. Hitting for average, driving in runs now and then, and playing some outstanding defense along the way.
For the longest time, he was stuck on one error all season long. Had the best fielding percentage of any shortstop in the AL. Made an error in Baltimore. Made an error, I believe, down in Tampa. So he sits at 3, which is still very good. And he's having some kind of season against the Red Sox.
It may be that he's getting consistent playing time at a consistent position. He was utilized more as a super utility man last year.
You know, it always helps when you come to the ballpark and you know that your name is going to be in that lineup. You know that you're going to hit leadoff. Cito Gaston has been very consistent with that all season long. Scutaro, Hill at the top of the lineup. So it's no surprise that two of the better hitters are right there.
Here's Buchholz with the 2-2, and it's on the ground for the shortstop, Nick Green. He makes the hard throw to first and gets Scutaro one away.
7th in the American League in fielding percentage. The Red Sox come into this game. Bay, Baldelli, and Drew in the outfield. Youkilis, Pedroia, Green, Lowell in the infield. First to third, the veteran Jason Varitek will catch Clay Buchholz. And talk about solid surprises. Nick Green, the shortstop for the Boston Red Sox since May the 18th, has had the fewest errors of any shortstop in the AL. He has really solidified this defense for Boston.
He's watching Aaron Hill go to work. And perhaps you heard that nice reception for Hill when he was announced. Fresh from his very first All-Star game, and those numbers show you why he was there. 20 home runs and 60 RBIs.
The 60 RBIs is the number that really jumps out for me.
Especially considering where he's hitting every day.
I guess that means that there's a lot of production in the bottom of the lineup. Because when the lineup turns around, there's got to be guys on base. 60 RBIs, that places him 6th in the American League.
Buchholz gets ahead of Hill here, 0-2. Varitek setting up outside, and that's where the pitch ends up. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Clay Buchholz shot to prominence in just his second major league start in September of 2007 when he threw a no-hitter against the Baltimore Orioles. Off the end of the bat, and that's foul. He was supposed to be, Pat, a mainstay in the rotation last year, but he struggled and endured a few injuries along the way too.
Why did he struggle? If you watch him, and if you had a chance to watch him last year, for me, he really kind of fell in love with his curveball, and he's got a very good one. Seems like when he got his fastball hit, he would immediately turn to his breaking ball. And there it is right there. That ball is hit foul. The Red Sox last year then sent him down to the minor leagues, where he was reunited with coach Mike Cather, very close to him. When he got down there, he said his head was spinning around. He didn't know what was happening, and he couldn't slow the game down. I think that's very important for pitchers, to slow the game down as they think through every single pitch. Well, they set out to rebuild the confidence of Clay Buchholz. So far, so good.
2 strikes on Aaron Hill. Here is the pitch, a breaking ball in the dirt. So he's not much different from Romero in that respect.
Confidence plays such a big factor. Ricky Romero's confidence wasn't there in spring training until Brad Arnsberg sat him down and said, hey, if I had your stuff, I'd be winning a lot of games at the big league level. After last season, the Red Sox sent Buchholz to the Arizona Fall League, where he was joined once again by Cather, and they worked on a couple of different things.
Here's Green again. He throws out Hill, and there are 2 away.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for young Clay Buchholz. He's got major league stuff. A fastball 94, 95 miles an hour. The curve and the change, and that's a go-to curve. It's an elite curveball that he can throw for strikes, and if he does, it can be a long night. He has been inconsistent in the big leagues. You talked about that no-hitter. Very high to 2-9 with a 675 earned run average last year. So they set out to remake him, rebuild that confidence, find the proper tempo to his delivery where he can feel comfortable with himself. And I think the most important thing is they emphasize, let's pitch fastball, changeup. Let's don't automatically go to our curveball when we get into trouble. Let's establish our fastball. Let's pitch off of our fastball and use that changeup. Well, his numbers in AAA are outstanding. He went to spring training and had a great spring also. One of the last players cut.
Gets a first strike on Lynn. Back with the second pitch, and he goes to that breaking ball. And Green behind the bag at second makes all 3 outs here, as the Blue Jays go 1, 2, 3. Let's see how Romero responds as the second. Food Bank. Back at Rogers Center, I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. It's the Red Sox on top after 1, 2-0. Jason Varitek, Rocco Baldelli, and Nick Green are coming up for Boston.
Let's see if Cito Gaston's little talking to at the end of the first inning had any effect on Ricky Romero. Usually you'll see the pitching coach go down there and talk to that night's starter. Very rarely where you see the manager go down there unless he had something to say. And I think he said, listen, do not give these guys too much credit. Get out there and attack them with your pitches. Attack them with that fastball. That was an early breaking ball that he threw to Kevin Youkilis early in that at bat.
There's Varitek with a fly ball down the right field line, and the ball is twisting out of play and just out of the reach of Jose Bautista. Ricky Romero just has to remember that to this point in the season, he's had a very impressive year. 7 wins, just 3 losses. An ERA right at 3.
And he's beating good teams. He's not beating some of those easy teams that are down in the standings offensively. He's beating people like the Philadelphia Phillies.
And the Tampa Bay Rays. There's the appeal. And Las Diaz is working first today.
New York Yankees were a victim. That was Ricky Romero's last win a couple of starts ago. From our high home camera, borderline
Close.
could have gone either way.
But for the second straight inning, Romero issues a leadoff walk, this time to Varitek. And so he now goes to work on Rocco Baldelli, a late addition to this ball game. Jacoby Ellsbury is out. He was initially penciled in as the center fielder. The Red Sox to this point have not given any word as to why. So Baldelli comes off the bench, and that leaves only 2 other men on the bench for Boston. Both left-handed hitters, Mark Kotsay and George Kataris.
Red Sox made a couple of moves to get to the 25-man roster for tonight's ball game. Julio Lugo was sent down to the minor leagues.
Designated for assignment, so that essentially means the Red Sox have washed their hands of Lugo.
Got a couple of years left on his contract. They also activated Mike Lowell from the 15-day disabled list today.
Two and two here on Baldelli with number 9 hitter Nick Green on deck. The first man up is now aboard after Varitek draws a walk. Here comes Romero with the pitch, and he got him a foul tip. There goes Baldelli, one away.
We've been talking about numbers for Ricky Romero this year. Well, where does he stand? Rookie started this year in ERA. Well, he has the best. Romero, then Josh Outman. We saw Bergeson in Baltimore. Scott Richmond is on that list. So Romero has been really fun to watch this year with his 3 ERA and his 7 wins.
He checks the runner at first as Nick Green comes in. And as you know, Pat, when the All-Star break hits, most players will disperse to their hometowns or maybe go and lie on a beach in Florida for a little while. Very few of the Blue Jays chose to come back to Toronto for the 4-day break. Ricky Romero was an exception. As he told me upon arrival in Toronto on Sunday night, I have to get ready for the Boston Red Sox because they owe me one. Referring to his start here on May 31st, he felt the Red Sox got the better of him, and he wasn't about to risk any time away or time out of his routine in preparation for tonight's ball game. So you can understand if he's a little amped up for the ball game tonight.
That's what I like about him. And when you hear those things from young pitchers, you get the sense that they've taken the next step in the maturation process of their career. Hanging around Roy Halladay will do that. You know, instead of thinking about the All-Star break and the 4 days and boy, I really deserve this, he's thinking about his next start. Probably came in, looked at some film, went over some scouting reports. Because you're right, he feels like he owes them after that start in Boston back in May.
There's Halladay, who leads by example and gets the start Sunday against Boston. Watching the young rookie left-hander work to the Red Sox and a 1-2 count on Nick Green. There's a swing and a miss on the breaking ball, so Romero has struck out a pair since walking Baratek.
Sets this up with his fastball, and there's that good overhand curveball. We haven't seen him control that changeup yet. It's early, but you get the sense in this inning that he is using his fastball a little bit more, just saying, okay boys, here it is, here's my fastball, let's see what you can do it with it. I think a good placed fastball, down, in, down and away, is the best way to pitch, and then you pitch off of that with the off-speed stuff.
Do you think that chat with Cito Gaston had an influence?
Cito knows a little something about hitting, and I'm sure he told him, hey look, don't give these guys too much credit. I want you to use that fastball, I want you to attack that strike zone, throw me some quality pitches, and then when you get ahead in the count, then you can start messing with them with that curveball and that good changeup.
Here's Drew again. He fouls it back. It's a ball and 2 strikes now. Casey Cox, an old Washington Senators pitcher, told me that once. He said, you know, it was so good having a manager like Ted Williams, because as a pitcher I could lean on him because he knew so much about hitting.
Yeah, he can see weaknesses, find weaknesses in the opposition and say, why don't you try this? Why don't we do that?
Romero tonight making just his 14th big league start. Got a man at first in Baratek. 2 gone by way of the strikeout, and J.D. Drew staring at a 2-2. Got him. He strikes out Drew and gets the side. Got off to a bit of a rough start, but Boston in town for 3. This is a 9-game homestand for the Jays. They'll see Cleveland and Tampa Bay here as well before heading west to take on the Mariners and A's. Boston jumps out on top with a 2-0 lead on a Kevin Youkilis home run, and here are the Blue Jays trying to get it back with Scott Rowland. Rowland hitting .320, 5th best in the American League, and fresh from a 25-game hit streak. Pat, you touched on those numbers. BUCHHOLZ has posted in AAA 7-2 with a 2.36 ERA. That's fouled away by Rowland. His whip, which is the combination walks and hits per innings pitched, is under 1. Essentially, he's done all he can do at the AAA level.
It's just been a carryover from the great spring that he had. He had an ERA of under 1 going into his last start of spring training, basically using that fastball and that changeup. There's another one right there. His fastball was darting and moving like never before. Pitching coach told him he proved his approach to pitching had matured, and his reward for that was being sent out to AAA because the Boston Red Sox are so deep in starting pitching. And I found it kind of interesting that he gets to start to open up the second half, but Terry Francona said, look, we just want to back up our veterans and give them some extra rest. This is our chance right here around the All-Star break. We'll change up there.
Rowland grounds out. And so that brings us to a Rogers Fast Fact, brought to you by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. You know, the Red Sox have won 13 of the last 24 meetings. They have certainly excelled within the division. Boston this year is 22-9 against the East.
Boston Red Sox kind of sitting where they usually sit this time of the year. They have played consistent baseball probably more than anybody in the American League over the last 5 years. Good pitching, good defense, power, and you add all of that up, and it's wins, lots of wins for the Boston Red Sox. This is familiar territory where the Red Sox sit right after the All-Star break. They have been in first place every year since 2006. And their record of 54-34. Only 4 other Red Sox teams have ever posted a better record before the All-Star break than this team. Humming right along. Terry Francona, his bench coach Brad Mills.
2 World Series wins since '04. And a base hit up the middle by Lyle Overbay. If the Blue Jays want a successful second half, they'd like to see Overbay get going.
Overbay and Alex Rios. Some people would take 262, 10 home runs and 46 driven in for a first half, but there's just so much more in Alex Rios. Just when it felt like he was coming out of it and he was going to go on one of those prolonged streaks that we have seen, he's fallen back into the problems that he has had this year. That's sitting on his backside, uppercutting some balls. His shoulders are not staying square. They have worked on it. Pitchers have pitched him a little tougher, a little bit different.
Breaking ball, strike 2. It has been a roller coaster of mechanical change in the first half for Rios. We check in almost daily with manager Cito Gaston, and some days things are good, some days things are not. It's a constant struggle with Rios. He's behind in the count and rips that one foul.
The first thing you have to do is you've got to clear your head. All of your prep work that you do in the cage before the game, out on the field during batting practice, that's for that time. Once you step into that batter's box during the game, you've got to just clear your mind and say, there's the ball, I'm going to go and hit it. And hopefully you have enough muscle memory through all your repetitions and all your practice and everything you've done before the game that it carries over into the game.
A ball and 2 strikes now on Rios. Overbay with a 1-out single. He stands at first. Jose Bautista is the man on deck. Bottom of the 2nd inning here in Toronto. Many people here at Rogers Center still finding their seats. The Red Sox are always a healthy draw. And Buchholz comes with a 1-2. It's foul down the line. It's now 2-2, and if you're wondering why Alex Rios is playing center field tonight, well, with a little more on that story, we bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, both center fielders noticeably absent in this game, and both of them not feeling well. To my knowledge, Vernon Wells is available to pinch hit later in the game. As far as Jacoby Ellsbury, did not see him in the clubhouse, but caught word, overheard a conversation in the Boston clubhouse that Baldelli would indeed be inserted into the lineup because, quote, he was feeling sick, was Ellsbury. So each of their managers missing their center fielders here tonight, at least one of them available.
Got him. There goes Rios. He strikes out. The victim of that nasty Buchholz changeup. And so there are 2 away.
He put fastball in the mind of Rios early in that count and then pulls the string on him. Changeup to pick up his first strikeout of the season. We talked about tempo. We talked about slowing the game down. This is the first time that Buchholz is in the stretch, and he certainly has slowed the game down.
It is noticeable.
Yeah.
As Jose Bautista steps in, having a nice start to this month. In 9 games in July, he's batting .350. Bautista plays right field tonight as Rios shifts to center. 1-0. And though he's only hit 2 home runs this year, Bautista has some pop in that bat. He could easily tie this game with 1 swing. Here's the 1-1. And it's rolled down the line. A fair ball and a quick throw from Lowell pulls Youkilis off the bag. Bautista beats it out. The second Blue Jay hit puts runners at first and second.
Mike Lowell has won a Gold Glove for the Boston Red Sox. Kevin Youkilis, the first baseman, has won a Gold Glove. If he makes this play, he's out. But the throw from Lowell is going to be short. Youkilis does his best of trying to back up on that ball, get it on a bigger hop, and then find the bag. As you can see from that replay, Bautista beats it out. And it goes as an error by the third baseman.
1 ball, no strikes now to Rod Barajas. So Bautista's on, courtesy of an error, charge to Mike Lowell. Overbay's up to second on the play. Lowell in his first game back after a stint on the disabled list. And here's BUCHHOLZ working to Barajas. He gets a strike with a breaking ball. 1-1 now on the batter.
Talked to Rob before the ball game today, and I asked him how the hamstring is going. He says it's getting better, but it's not 100%. And I guess it's nice when you're a catcher that you don't have to run. Speed isn't a big part of your game.
He checks his swing. And so it's 2-1. And Barajas did not have the most productive of road trips. He went just 2 for 21 at the plate. And he seems to be imploring himself there. Try and bust out of a little mini slump here.
I think what he was telling himself is to stay back. You want to see the ball before you stride. Whenever a batter kind of checks his swing like that and he's out on his front foot, he's not seeing the ball. See it first. Stay back.
He's victimized there. 2-2. That seems to be his wheelhouse too. He's a good low ball hitter.
That one was a little bit too low. I think he went out of his comfort zone to go after that fastball. Yes, he is a very good low ball hitter. You throw him something down and in, and he's going to lose it.
Bautista and Overbay aboard here in the Jays' half of the second inning. 2 gone and a 2-2 count on Barajas. BUCHHOLZ with a pitch, and he gets him. Changed it up a little bit and gets Barajas swinging. So that ends the second inning, where the Red Sox ahead 2-0.
Scouts seats behind me as the first pitch is called the ball to Dustin Pedroia. not completely full, but I did go back a few rows where the scout seats aren't normally designated. There are a few there, so a little more than normal here tonight, guys.
Very interesting to see both Gillick and Ash back in the building.
For the next 2 weeks, you're going to see those scout seats filled up. Not necessarily because of all the rumors about Roy Halladay. It's just the time of the year. It's not necessarily about the Boston Red Sox. As Pedroia tries to check his swing.
The trade deadline is the last day of July. The Blue Jays that day will open a series in Oakland. Perhaps people like Gillick and Ash just getting a look at a variety of players here. As Pedroia goes down and gets that one and strokes a base hit to center field. So he fights one off on 2 strikes and gets aboard here in the 3rd.
Well, Sam talked that he was hot coming into this game. Over his last 11, 385. A good 2-strike approach right there by Dustin Pedroia to pick up his first base hit.
Romero has allowed the lead man to get aboard in all 3 innings and now deals with Kevin Youkilis, who hit his 17th home run of the year in the 1st inning. Pedroia was on base at the time. A 2-run shot has the Red Sox on top early. Youkilis didn't work the count before hitting it out his first time up. He normally does. His on-base percentage is number 2 in the American League. Only Joe Mauer of the Twins has a better number, as that ball is headed for the seats in right field.
You look at Youkilis and say, boy, he'd be a very good number 2 hitter. He can hit the ball all over the field. He's got a little bit of power, but his production has been so good, you have to move him into number 3. He has done that this year, and last year had a big year.
Romero sets, and here's the 1-2 pitch, and he got him swinging. Youkilis chases a fastball up and goes down on strikes. 1 away.
Strikeouts haven't been a problem for Ricky Romero tonight. Climbing the ladder against Youkilis, something that is hard to do. He doesn't strike out a whole lot. Number 5 already for Romero tonight.
Romero's career high came in a win in Philadelphia when he struck out 9. And here he faces Big Papi, David Ortiz. This is a different ball player from the one the Blue Jays first saw when they went to Boston for the first meeting of the year.
He hadn't homered when that series started in Boston at the end of May.
And finally did, off of rookie Brett Cecil. And really had the folks of Boston wondering what on earth is wrong with Big Papi.
Well, nothing lately.
Nope.
You look at the numbers since June the 2nd. The RBIs are starting to come. The extra base hits are starting to come. And he was always very good with runners in scoring position. A big RBI man, up over 300. Once again with runners in scoring position since June the 2nd. There was talk earlier in the year that there were some knee problems, hip problems, wrist problems. It just took him a while to get on track.
Look at Ricky Romero mowing him down right now. He strikes out Ortiz. That's 6 strikeouts in 2 innings and change.
And all of them swinging. And if you're a Blue Jay fan, that's a good thing. He's got the Boston Red Sox swinging at good quality pitches. When you see a lot of swing and miss strikeouts, you know you've got some electric stuff here tonight.
You talk about guys who have flipped the switch. As Romero deals a breaking ball for ball 1 to Jason Bay. Romero gave up the 2 runs in the first on a pair of hits and a walk. Sat down with his manager, and since then has struck out 5, issuing 1 walk and allowing 1 base hit. Message delivered, apparently. Although he's got some work to do here against Jason Bay. 2 balls and no strikes.
Jason Bay had an interesting game last Sunday. Did you get a chance to look at what he did on Sunday, the game before the All-Star break?
Against Kansas City?
Ball's fouled off. Became the first Red Sox player to reach base 5 times without recording a base hit. The first time that happened was way back in 1951. Ted Williams had 5 walks.
Without a base hit.
Without a base hit.
Now throw over to first. And Pedroia has not been straying too far from that bag. Romero sets for the 2-2. Here it comes in the dirt. And the count goes full against Jason Bay. Bay with 20 home runs. His career high came 3 years ago with Pittsburgh. He hit 35. Runner goes inside, and Bay strikes out. Romero did it again. Allows the first man on base, and then strikes out the side and gets out of it where the most Rogers Plus locations. 2-0 Boston, bottom of the 3rd. Swing and a miss from David DELLUCCI, who's playing left field tonight and batting 9th. So far, Clay BUCHHOLZ has allowed 1 base hit And 2 base runners. Bautista got on courtesy of Mike Lowell's throwing error. Both men were left stranded in the second. So here in the third, it's DELLUCCI, Scutaro, and Hill, with the Blue Jays trailing 2-0. One and one to the veteran. And here comes BUCHHOLZ with the pitch. It's hit in the air over toward left field. And Jason Bay is there to make the out. And once again, we bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, Pat, in the bottom of the second inning, you talked about the curious move to start BUCHHOLZ in this game. And the reason is twofold. Terry Francona really wanted to make BUCHHOLZ feel a part of the organization, feel like the big club hadn't lost sight of what he had done. He's done everything the club has asked him to do, going down to AAA, biding his time when he probably should have made the club out of spring training. The next thing is, coming out of the All-Star break and on the road, you don't know what kind of energy your team's going to have. BUCHHOLZ, knowing that he has one start to strut his stuff, Terry Francona really felt like he'd bring more energy, a much-needed energy, to start off the second half of this Boston Red Sox team.
And there might even be a third, Sam, but nobody inside the Red Sox organization would even mention this, but this could be a bit of an audition. You've got Pat Gillick here. You've got Gord Ash of the Milwaukee Brewers here. The trade deadline is coming up. The Red Sox have all kinds of depth from a starting pitching perspective.
They certainly do. But when you look at this team, the Boston Red Sox, what do you think this team needs?
Pitching. You can never have enough.
Maybe another left-hander in the bullpen. Mike Lowell just came off the disabled list, maybe looking for another bat in case something happens there. Maybe he goes down.
They're pretty deep. I mean, if BUCHHOLZ, who's putting up these great numbers in AAA, can't make this rotation. The bullpen was solidified in the offseason.
They're really backed up in the minor leagues also, with a lot of good young arms. So they're sitting in the driver's seat. They can pretty much deal from strength.
Marcos Scutaro is 0 for 1. Outside for ball 2. The year BUCHHOLZ pitched the no-hitter, 2007, he could hardly sleep before starts at the big league level. Back in the majors since August, and now pitching against the Blue Jays. Ball 3 to Scutaro, who's never been afraid to hit with 2 strikes. Works the count full here against BUCHHOLZ with Aaron Hill on deck.
He's got a great idea when he steps into that batter's box, does Marcos Scutaro. Give me the plan. Let me have an idea. Let me see a lot of pitches. And he's usually rewarded by getting on base.
Here comes the 7th pitch of the at-bat. 3-2 offering, ripped to right field. Heading toward the foul pole, and it is out of play.
Marcos Scutaro has a swing that's conducive to not going into slumps. You can see how short he is to the ball, how balanced he is at the plate. And he has what every good leadoff batter needs, and that's strike zone recognition.
Kicking the pitch upstairs, ball 4. He draws a walk against BUCHHOLZ and gets on with 1 out.
He can file that away now for later in the game. If it gets to 3-2, it looks like Clay Buchholz is going to attack Marco Scutaro, Aaron Hill, the top of the lineup. They're going to challenge him with a fastball. That time he just got it upstairs a little bit.
Aaron Hill follows. Scutaro at first with his team leading 57th walk of the year. The Blue Jays with their third base runner of the ball game. And the heart of the order coming up here with Hill and Lind on deck. Hill got a full taste of the All-Star game, played in 7 innings, went 0 for 3. Made some solid plays defensively and acquitted himself beautifully. I liked his comment afterward, Pat. He said, I don't care if I never have an All-Star break again. If I'm invited to this game every year, I will take that invitation. Which is very refreshing, because there are some players out there who look at the All-Star game as an inconvenience.
They want those 3 days off. They want to get away from the game, not think about it, just get themselves mentally, physically ready for the second half.
On the ground, sharply hit, taken by Pedroia. What a play! And that starts a double play. Boy, that was a bullet along the ground, but Pedroia makes it look easy.
It was easy for him because he got low. You have to get low to get a good look at that ball, and as soon as he caught it,
impressive, and none of it is terribly surprising. He's a very competitive young man who learned a valuable lesson or two from pitching coach Brad Arnsberg around the middle of March.
attack the strike zone, be confident in yourself, don't give those hitters too much credit. Those numbers we just showed up there from Ricky Romero do not count. 2 excellent starts.
This one hammered to the corner by Lowell, and it gets off the base of the wall very quickly. DELLUCCI brings it in, and Lowell stops it first.
Fastball down and in, ripped into the corner. Lowell's done that for a long time in his career. DELLUCCI plays it perfectly. Comes right back to him. Lowell doesn't run all that well. He is not going to test the arm of David DELLUCCI. 4 straight innings now. The leadoff batter has gotten on for the Boston Red Sox.
Lola's coming off major hip surgery in the offseason, and just today activated from the disabled list. And so here's Varitek now. The Red Sox catcher walked in the second. But then after Varitek drew the walk, Romero struck out Baldelli, Green, and Drew. Next inning, Dustin Pedroia got on with the leadoff single. And Romero came back with strikeouts of Youkilis, Ortiz, and Bay. So he certainly hasn't been phased with getting the lead runner on.
Probably feels like he has been throwing out of the stretch the whole game. And he has. He's only faced 4 batters out of the windup.
Takes a deep breath here. He's run the count 2-0 on Varitek. 61 pitches in total. Here comes the fastball up, and it's 3-0. Four pitches and a walk to Varitek, puts 2 on and nobody out. This coming Sunday is the Mr. Sub Sports Bag giveaway here at the ballpark. The first 10,000 fans receive the Mr. Sub Sports Bag. Again, you can find more information at BlueJays.com. It's the Blue Jays and Red Sox on Sunday. A 1 o'clock local time, with Roy Halladay going to the mound against left-hander John Lester. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Rocco Baldelli is the hitter for the Red Sox.
If you're wondering, well, do the Red Sox try and bunt the runners into scoring position? That is not something that they do. They do not like to give up outs.
Here's a grounder to Scudero. He goes to second for one, off to first for another, and they get an important double play.
And that time it worked to their disadvantage. Just 8 sacrifice bunt hits this year for the Boston Red Sox. They like to let their hitter swing away, and Baldelli has an easy ground ball double play.
And that helps Ricky Romero, who can get out of this right now by getting the number 9 hitter, Nick Green. Green hitting a very respectable .256. Not a whole lot of pop in that bat. He swings and misses on the first one, falling behind 0-1.
This was the last player invited to camp as a non-roster invitee, Nick Green, and he has taken the shortstop's job away from Julio Lugo.
He has really stabilized a position as we look back on that pitch.
You see his left hand right down on the knob of that bat, and that pitch from Romero actually hits the knob of the bat. Most of that on the bat, but pinching the left hand of Nick Green.
Was he a little late on trying to sell that?
Can't sell that. That's a foul ball right off the bottom of the bat. Terry Francona's got a few things to say to home plate umpire Chuck Merriweather.
Well, maybe Green is trying to show Merriweather some blood or a bruise or something like that.
Well, there probably is, but remember, his hand is over the knob of the bat. He doesn't signal that it's a hit by a pitch.
Green has been so impressive this year. He's essentially bumped Julio Lugo from the organization. And the man who was supposed to be the starting shortstop most of the year. Jed Lowry is due to come back sometime soon.
I believe he was just bumped up to Double-A for a rehab stint. Francona and Green still pleading their case with home plate umpire Chuck Merriweather.
And none of this is to the benefit of Ricky Romero right now, who's got 2 strikes on Green and wants to get his team back up at the plate.
He should get a couple of pitches here, shouldn't he?
Sometimes that kind of delay can really halt the momentum of a pitcher. And we'll see how it affects Romero right here. He's got the batter 0-2. Lull the runner at third. Here comes the breaking ball, and it's ripped foul. Romero tries again, and he gets him this time in the dirt. Green goes after it and strikes out. So yet again, the Red Sox get their first hitter on, but thanks to a double.
I'm so grateful for the support that we did get, but it was slow, and we have a lot of need in the city.
There's no question there, and this message really goes out to the people who are planning on coming down to the ballpark tomorrow and Sunday, because the food drive just doesn't end tonight.
Exactly. It's tomorrow and Sunday. We're at the 4 corners of the stadium. Any non-perishable food items is fantastic, as well as cash. We also have some signed items for any donations $25 and higher.
Here's Adam Lynn facing Clay Buchholz. Lynn will be followed by Roland and Overbay. And when we last met with you in New York, you had set sort of a monetary goal.
Yes.
Do you remember what that number was?
Yeah, $25,000. It's big. I know it's big, and I know that people are struggling themselves right now, but that goes to show there's even more need in the city. And I know that's a big number, but I have faith in the city. I know they can do it because we've almost done it before.
I'm going to blame it on the All-Star break. We didn't get a chance to push it.
It's right. Very true, and that's why I went to New York, and that's why I'm here today.
The people in Toronto have always come through.
Always.
They've always come through. And not just perishable items like you say, cash.
Money, support. Absolutely they have. And that's why I didn't hesitate to come up and ask you guys for support to help me get my word out there again.
Well, we're happy to have you here as Buchholz works a 1-2 pitch, fouled away by Lind. And, you know, there are a lot of people that drive up from different parts of New England.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter that they don't live here. They can do their part too. And I don't know if some of the Lady Jays were out talking to the people who are from the state, saying, if you're coming to the game tomorrow, stop by the the convenience store near the hotel and bring something along.
Come to the hotel.
Absolutely.
They're filled. Come and set up in the lobby of the hotel. They're everywhere.
Boston fans in the past have always been very supportive. It doesn't matter. This isn't just about feeding Toronto. It's about feeding children. It's about supporting a community. And we are fortunate that we can all afford to come to these games and do these things. And I think we need to remember that and give back to the people that really do need some help right now.
What kind of things should people be grabbing from their cupboard?
Tuna, pasta, baby items, anything non-perishable is fantastic. Peanut butter, anything, boxed prepared meals, Kraft macaroni and cheese, anything that you see that is not going to go to waste, bring it.
Canned beans, canned vegetables, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have the food,
bring the money. The money is every bit as valuable, if not more so, than the food, because the food bank can spend it a little better than we can. They get the discounts that we don't. So food, or money rather, is always very, very welcome, U.S. or Canadian.
And the items go to?
They all go to the Daily Bread Food Bank. They've been helping out in the city for years. They provide jobs and job training as well. But they feed over 1 million people a year in the Toronto area. A third of those are children. So it is a fantastic organization. It's a great thing to support.
Well, here's Lynn working against BUCHHOLZ. Brandy Halliday is our guest.
We're going to get you into this. All right? You got some soup? You got to bring some soup or something tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't see it on camera, but I'm pickpocketing right now.
Is that what
I'm not afraid.
No. We'll do this on camera. Hang on a second here.
Well, not to put you guys on the spot or anything.
Tomorrow, come on up here, and we'll get the guys next to us also.
Here's a belt to center field by Lynn, and it rolls up against the wall. Adam Lynn with a double to lead off the fourth for the Blue Jays.
Just the second hit tonight for the Blue Jays. Jamie, 21 straight games now that the Blue Jays have hit at least one double. This ball right down Broadway, and Adam Lynn has not missed many of those this season. Extra bases, and the Jays are in business.
And Scott Rowland coming to the plate now. Lynn doubles, nobody out, fourth inning. The Blue Jays trailing 2-0. Brandy Halliday is our guest as we promote the ladies' food drive that's going on all weekend here at Rogers Center. They need your help desperately. Games tomorrow and Sunday, 1 o'clock starts. And the Blue Jays' wives and girlfriends will be camped outside the gates here at Rogers Center, collecting non-perishable food items and cash donations. As Scott Rowland steps in, 1 ball and no strikes.
So will you come by tomorrow? I'm going to go down to the store tomorrow morning.
If you guys will let me, I will absolutely be here tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll make my donation. I'll go down to the store tomorrow morning. I'll bring my canned goods in.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you.
Here's a grounder back to BUCHHOLZ, who goes to third. The tag is applied, and they get Lynn trying to advance.
One of the harder plays to read as a runner at second base. You must, especially if you're behind, must make that ball get by the pitcher. You're at second base, nobody out. Here comes a comebacker. You got to make sure it gets by. If it doesn't and he fields it, you're going to be out easily, which Adam Lynn is at third base. Good play by BUCHHOLZ to go down and field his position.
Lynn perhaps a little too eager there, and he's thrown out. So Rowland now at first, and Overbay hits this one to center field, and it's down and off the wall, and up and over the wall, in fact. So it's a ground rule double, and that will prevent Rowland from scoring. It took a wild hop and bounced over the top of the wall.
We saw this twice on the just completed road trip right before the All-Star break. It happened one time in Tampa, and it cost the Blue Jays a run, and it happened in Baltimore. This ball is smoked by Lyle Overbay into the gap. Watch where it hits, and it hits on top of the wall instead of staying in play. It bounces over. So Scott Rowland, who's running hard all the way with an out, has to go back to third. You see Chuck Merriweather signaling 2 bases for Overbeck.
He would have scored easily. Instead, second and third now for the Blue Jays. Here's Alex Rios. And he hits it high in the air to center field. Baldelli backs up. Roland tags. And he comes home. The Blue Jays are on the board. It's 2-1. So the sacrifice fly gets it done.
No chance for Baldelli. A productive at bat for Rios. He gets the runner over and he gets him in with 1 swing.
So much stuff is happening on the field. We'll invite Brandy Halliday back into the conversation as Jose Bautista steps in with a man at third and 2 gone. 2-1 Boston.
It's hard to be quiet with plays like that.
No kidding. Here's a line shot right at Pedroia. And that ends it for the Blue Jays, who get a bunch of hits and 1 run. And Brandy, we thank you so much. Look. Ballpark, the first 5,014 and under receive a Blue Jays Webkins pet. As J.D. Drew grounds out to second baseman Aaron Hill. Here's a look at the giveaway for next weekend's series, a 3-gamer between the Blue Jays and Rays, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And God bless Brandy Halliday, who comes up here and does so for the 3rd time in the last 3 weeks, plugging and promoting and working hard at trying to generate some donations, whether food, non-perishable items, or otherwise, in support of the Daily Bread Food Bank. And here's hoping that those of you who are watching tonight, and you know you've got tickets for either tomorrow or Sunday's game, next commercial break, go off to the pantry, grab some soup, grab some pasta, grab some baby formula if you have it, and bring it to the ballpark.
She's very passionate about
Very
what
much
she
so.
does.
Yep. And they do a great job. They were a little behind in their collection today and are hoping to make up for it tomorrow and Sunday. With 1 out in the 5th, it's Dustin Pedroia, who is 1 for 2. He ground into a fielder's choice in the 1st and scored on Kevin Youkilis's home run, and then singled to center field in the 3rd inning. 1 and 2, and a breaking ball in the dirt. That one's got some chalk on it, so it will be replaced. Romero needs one more strikeout to tie his major league high established against the Phillies, and he won't get it there. It's fouled off at the plate. Still 2-2.
They are the K's.
And let's give some credit to the creativity from those posting them in the 200 level. Romero hoping to put a 9th up on the board. Here comes the pitch, but this guy at the plate is a tough out. Most valuable player in the American League a year ago.
The hardest to strike out in the American League. Strikes out once every 14.6 at bats, which is the best ratio in the AL.
That one's popped up, and here comes Overbay, but it's a step ahead of him. And so Overbay can't make the play to get Pedroia.
We've talked all season long how the Blue Jays really pinched the middle of the diamond, especially now with 2 strikes. Overbay is back and over, and he just can't get to that little humpback liner from Pedroia. Ricky Romero reached back for a little bit extra on that last pitch. Really got in the kitchen of Dustin Pedroia.
2-2, and stroked foul. So this battle continues. It was Pedroia who got the key hit against Romero the last time they met. A 3-run home run just inside the foul pole here at Rogers Center on the 31st of May. That one clearly smarted, so he'll take some time and limp away.
He's an aggressive swinger even with 2 strikes. That one right off the toe. This has been a great at bat. You see Romero just trying to reach back for a little something extra. Pedroia going right with him.
Calls to mind a BUCHHOLZ versus Scudero a couple of innings ago that resulted in a walk. And that pitch goes for ball 3, so it's a full count now to Pedroia. You've got Kevin Youkilis on deck.
Ricky gave away that changeup right there. Went fastball, 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 and then slowed everything down on that changeup. Really gave it away. Let's see if he has good arm action on this one.
Pedroia backs out, adjusts the gloves. Here comes the pitch. Grounded foul. Here's a man on the right who won the American League Rookie of the Year award just 2 years ago. And the man on the left is making a bid for it halfway through this season. 3-2 pitch down, and it's ball 4. So Pedroia has managed to get on base all 3 times tonight. He draws a 1-out walk. And that brings back Kevin Youkilis, whose 2-run home run is the difference right now.
That was just a great at bat. 12 pitches Pedroia saw against Romero, and he could not finish him off.
First pitch to Youkilis, misses for ball 1.
How important is Kevin Youkilis to this offense? Last year, when he got a hit in a ball game, the Boston Red Sox went 71-30. He's got his hit, and he's got a couple of RBIs here tonight.
And he's working with a very favorable count right now. 2-0. There's Pedroia with a short lead at first, held on by Oberbe. Here's the 2-0, and it goes for ball 3. Romero can ill afford to issue a free pass to Youkilis. He knows David Ortiz is on deck. And Ortiz is followed by Jason Bay. So here comes an important pitch, and it's up there for ball 4. He loses Youkilis. Now 2 men on with Big Papi coming up, and we go downstairs and find Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, there's been a rotational change for the Toronto Blue Jays. Brian Talbot has been sent down to the bullpen and will remain there until the 25th when his spot start, which would be the 5th spot, comes back up in the rotation. Mark Zipchinski gets the start tomorrow against Brad Penny, rounding out the rest of the starting matchups coming up on Sunday. A pretty good one in John Lester and Roy Halladay. And so very interesting to see the move the Blue Jays have made, putting Talbot back into the bullpen where they feel they need a little more depth.
And it helps that he's a left-hander too, with some of the teams coming in like the Red Sox and Tampa Bay, all with good left-handed hitters in their lineup. Gaston wanted the support as David Ortiz swings and misses. 1 strike on Big Papi. He's 1 for 2, singling and striking out. First and second for the Red Sox. They're up by 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Wide of the plate, ball 1.
You see Ricky Romero taking big, deep breaths in between almost every pitch now. That at bat by Dustin Pedroia might have taken a lot out of him. 12 pitches, 4 3-2 pitches before he finally lost them. Those are the kind of things that don't show up in the box score. Just the 5th inning, and Romero is sitting at 90 pitches.
Two and 2. As Sean Kemp begins to throw. And now the pitch to Ortiz, and yet another full count.
Yeah, I think Cito Gaston is sensing the same thing. You see the arm slot of Ricky Romero starting to drop down a little bit. That usually happens when pitchers get tired. They lose that spot. It starts dropping, and the ball starts sailing on him. You see him take another deep breath to gather himself and get over that mound and make a pitch here.
And yet 1 pitch could get him out of this inning. As the ball is hit in the air to left field, DELLUCCI is back to the wall, right back to the wall, and it's off the top. Pedroia comes home. Youkilis right behind him, and Ortiz has doubled in 2.
He's got 8 strikeouts, but that at bat by Pedroia might have taken something out of him. He's trying to get his fastball away to David Ortiz, trying to get it away to make him reach for it. But you can see that all ball is starting to sail up into the strike zone on him. And that looked like a changeup right there, 3-2. Papi stays right with it and just misses the home run off the top of the wall. DELLUCCI gets back, thinks he has a beat on it, and it hits right off the top of the wall for RBIs. 48 and 49 for Ortiz. Boston gets 2 more. They jump back on top 4-1, and Ricky Romero's night is over.
He doesn't make 5 innings against the Red Sox this evening as he departs and gives it up for Sean Kemp. The Blue Jays In this start against the Boston Red Sox, he remembers getting roughed up by them on May 31st. Did not want it to happen again, but only lasts 4 1/3 in the opener of this 3-game series. And so he'll watch as Sean Kemp makes his 32nd appearance.
Ricky Romero's twice this year had 5 walks in a game, both of them against the Boston Red Sox. Kemp takes over, and the first batter that he will face is Jason Bay. Bay did not have any luck against Romero. Romero struck him out a couple of times.
He fouls off the first offering from Kemp. David Ortiz stands at second after a 1-out double cashed Pedroia and Youkilis. So the Red Sox extend the lead. It's now 4-1 as Jason Bay steps in. He's driven in 72 this year. Here comes Kemp with a second pitch. It's grounded to Rolen. He looks back Ortiz and throws out Bay. You'll get a lot of that from Sean Kemp. He's a ground ball specialist.
Yeah, sinker, slider. When he's got that curveball working, he can be tough. He has had some pretty decent outings this year. He has worked at least 2 innings in 10 of his 31 appearances this year. He's got some help in that bullpen now as a long man. Sam was talking about Brian Talent being moved down there. Talent now can pitch multiple innings out of the bullpen.
Here's Mike Lowell again. He's 1 for 2. A head scratcher tonight for Ricky Romero. But if you look at the entire picture, this half season, Romero has really made a stand here in Toronto.
We talked about his last 5 starts, winning 4 of them. Pitched well enough in his last start, 8 innings, giving up just 3 earned runs, but picked up a no decision against Baltimore. He could have easily won that if he got some help offensively.
2 strikes on Lowell. Here's a roller to short, and Scudero picks it up, throws out the runner at first, and Kemp comes in and gets the job done, but Romero leaves with a 4-1. Time you came to this city?
You know, it's been a long time. I think I might have came back for 1 game after I was done playing. So My wife and I have ran into a lot of people we knew when I played here. I saw Pat Gillick upstairs. I saw Paul Beeston. So it's just already been a wonderful trip.
I saw when you saw Cito Gaston for the first time in a long time.
Yes, and Cito was a hitting coach when I played here. Of course, I've watched from afar when they won the World Series, and then he came back to manage again. And I always considered myself very close with Cito, and I think it's wonderful that he's back here as a manager.
What did he mean to you as a hitting coach?
Well, the main thing was I thought Cito really developed great relationships with the players. As you know, Pat, there's a lot of ups and downs during the course of the season. If you're not playing every day, the things you have to do to stay mentally and physically sharp. And Cito always had a great way with the hitters to always keep their confidence up and really believe in what they were doing.
Now, Rick, as many baseball fans know, you were a very good Major League Baseball player, but also a very good quarterback at the University of Michigan. And you were drafted, as I recall, by the Denver Broncos, but chose baseball. Which of the two sports did you love more?
Well, I really, it would be hard for me to pick. Of course, I'm back not too far from Ann Arbor now, so I'm involved with both the football and baseball program. You know, playing in front of 100,000 plus people every home game is a wonderful. But the opportunities and things that I saw, as Pat would know, Major League Baseball are hard to replace also.
Rick, your body probably thanks you that you didn't play
yes,
football.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yes, as I told people, no broken bones, no surgeries, and I can play a lot of golf these days, so it's worked out fine.
You were walking around fine out there. I saw you. So we've seen those ex-NFLers trying to get around.
Well, you know, we just had a football reunion about a month ago in Ann Arbor, and a lot of my buddies that I played with aren't as fortunate. So you're well aware of that, Pat.
You sound like a football player, Rick. You really do.
Well, I enjoy it, and it's fun. Michigan had a rough year last year, but I think we're on our way back, and it should be fun this year.
I want to ask you about Rick Leach bobblehead day that took place recently with the West Michigan Whitecaps.
How did you guys become aware of that?
That's the single A affiliate, right, of the Detroit Tigers?
Yes, sir.
How does it feel to have your own bobblehead doll?
Well, you know, I've got 3 boys, and my boys always give me a lot of guff about some of the things at U of M. But once they saw that bobblehead, they thought Dad had arrived.
Dad's legit?
Yeah, Dad's legit now. He's got his own bobblehead.
Talk a little bit about the early Blue Jay teams when you were here from 1984 to 88. What was it like? What are some of your memories?
Well, my memories were that there was just tremendous talent here. Bobby Cox was here when I first got here, who I just loved playing for. And then he left shortly after that. But when I was telling a few people, when I think back at the talent, we had Dave Steeb and Jimmy Key, Jim Clancy, that kind of anchored our pitching staff. We had one of the premier closers in Tom Henke. You know, I played both first base and outfield, but let's see, in the outfield we had Mosby, Bell, and Barfield at first base. Willie Upshaw was here along with Cecil Fielder and Fred McGriff. So, you know, and things really took off for me here. There was a tremendous amount of talent. We had some great teams. And when I look back at my major league career, I think Toronto was the thing that really stands out to me.
And Rick, in your lone appearance as a pitcher, what pitch did you throw that gave up a home run to Cleveland catcher Jerry Willard?
Oh, Jerry Willard. Pat, you weren't around Cleveland in those days, were you?
Yes, I was.
Well,
I was there.
If you remember right, we were getting blown out. It was the middle of the summer. And I remember they told me, don't worry, just try and lob it over the plate and let's get out of it. And my first pitch, I tried to gear it up a little bit, and I almost hit him in the head, I think. So, I mean, he was looking out at me, and I just tried to lay the next one, and he let me know why he's a major league hitter, that's for sure.
Beautiful. I think the Indians won that game 16-1.
Yes. That might have been gracious if it was that score, but it was ugly, as Pat well knows.
I remember that. Jerry Willard had a little pop if you made a mistake.
Yes, yes, he took me out of there. You know, if I remember right, Pat, I think it was, I think if Andre Thornton was there and one of the other guys, I think I got them out. Either they hit rockets or hit it right at somebody. And Jerry Willard, and who was your other guy? Dwayne Kuiper, wasn't he on that team?
Kuip was, he was there in Cleveland. I don't know if he played with Jerry Willard.
Okay, somebody like that, man. They hit a rocket off me, and they thanked me after the game. They said, I don't hit too many like that. Those were the good old days, though.
Great to chat with Rick Leach, who's back as part of the Flashback Friday celebrations. And watching the Blue Jays trailing Boston right now 4-1. And with 2 out, Aaron Hill steps in to face Clay Buchholz. Things have changed a little bit, though, Rick. They've got the, you know, the brand new ballpark. I mean, you played most of your time at Exhibition Stadium.
Yes, I played the whole time that I was with Toronto was there. After the '88 season, I went to Texas for 1 year, so I came here on a couple trips with a visiting team. But that was the last time that I was here. So to come back, they put my wife and I up in one of the hotel rooms up top. You know, to look out on here and see everything they have. Pat, holy cow, just walking in the locker rooms nowadays.
How about that?
I mean, I think we used to have nails up there, about 2 or 3 nails, I think.
And a little stool to kind of sit on and pick the splinters out of your backside.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, but you know what? God bless them, man. Things have changed for the better, and you know, I remember when we came up, I used to know some of the '68 Tigers, Pat, Bill Freehand, L.K. Line, Mickey Stanley, some of the guys that were around, and they thought that we really had it easy compared to what they had. So I guess it's all relative.
Here's Aaron Hill. 1-1. Buchholz with a pitch and a tapper foul. You know, Rick, if you were ever looking for another line of work, you sound like John Madden. You could do some work as an NFL analyst and get away with being Madden. He just retired a little while ago.
Well, my wife's sitting right next to me. If she heard you say that, she would gag. I did a little, oh yeah. I did a little Michigan football back in the day, and I've had some things here and there, but you guys know how much preparation and so on and so forth go into it. So I'm happy playing golf and watching the games.
Here is Scutaro taking off, swung on and missed. It doesn't matter because Hill struck out, and we thank Rick Leach for joining us tonight on Flashback Friday. Hey, enjoy your stay here this weekend.
Thanks so much, guys.
And please don't forget to bring a non-perishable food item if you're coming down.
Can't wait for that pitching matchup on Sunday.
Isn't that going to be something?
Did you see the long haul bombers? Was it last year?
I've seen them many times.
It's pretty incredible what they do.
It really is.
And Joe Carter's brother is still one of them?
I think he might not be with them anymore. Whoa! Sean Kemp has to get out of the way of that flying bat and does a nice job of doing so. I don't think he was terribly concerned with the ground ball. It's the bat that was causing him problems.
Just run to the ball and you'll get out of the way. He's got that ability when he sinks that fastball, gets it off the end of the bat, and you can look to see right there coming right at him. Good sinker down and away. The bat goes helicoptering out to the mound. And Sean Kemp is running for his life.
Strike one to Rocco Baldelli. You're right, though. Those guys are fun to watch.
Yes.
Aluminum bats, juiced up softballs.
Juiced up softballs.
And they hit it a mile.
They hit from home plate.
Yes.
And they hit it off the windows in the restaurants. The 1, 2, 3 decks. Saw a guy hit one in the 4th deck last year. That's a bomb with a softball.
Here's Baldelli, a last-minute replacement for Jacoby Ellsbury tonight. Facing Sean Kemp, and he lines this shot to left field, and DELLUCCI makes a sliding catch.
Whole key to that play is you've got to read it off the bat, and you've got to break as soon as the ball is hit. DELLUCCI, the veteran, reads it perfectly, and he comes in right away and makes a nice sliding catch. You hesitate for 1 second right there, and that ball is going to be down. Sean Kemp certainly likes the defense. A little upset with himself on the pitch.
Outfielders often tell you that it's much harder to read the ball from the corner positions than from center field.
That ball could be hooking at you, could be slicing at you.
Green pops it up into right field. In comes Bautista, and out goes Green. The Blue Jays watch the Red Sox go down 1-2-3. Adam Lynn leads off for the club when we return. First, a Kevin Youkilis 2-run home run, and added 2 more in the 5th on a pair of walks issued by Ricky Romero. Both brought home on David Ortiz's double. The Blue Jays with a run in the 4th, a double by Lynn, and then a double by Overbay. Scott Rowland, who was on with the fielder's choice, came in on a sacrifice fly by Rios. All the while, Clay Buchholz, in his first start of the year for the Red Sox, has been very solid on the mound, allowing just 1 run on 3 hits.
One of those hits, a double, as you see some action now in the bullpen. That is Daniel Bart for the Boston Red Sox. One of those hits, you mentioned it, the double by Lind, and at the time we said that's 21 consecutive games now that the Blue Jays have hit a double. I don't want to put you on the spot, and I'm not trying to, but do you know what the record is for consecutive doubles in games?
In Blue Jays history or in Major League history?
Major League history.
I have no clue.
75 by the Cleveland Indians in 1996.
In 96.
They had at least 1 double in 75 straight games. So 21 sounds pretty impressive.
They were a good team in 96. That was in between World Series appearances. So what you're telling me is the Blue Jays have a long way to go.
Long way to go.
Yeah.
21 sounds impressive, and it is 21. Well, you're not even a third of the way there.
Lynn rolling in Overbay here in the 6th inning. Buchholz with a 2-2 pitch. And if Buchholz's intention was to show not only Terry Francona but General Manager Theo Epstein that he belongs at this level, so far he's making a nice impression.
He's a different pitcher than the one we saw a couple of years ago. They were looking for good mound presence. They were looking for a good tempo. They are looking for strikes. That is what we have seen tonight from Clay Buchholz.
He sought out the advice of Josh Beckett, and Beckett had one piece. He said, quote, an executed pitch that gets someone out at AAA is going to get someone out in the big leagues too. As that one is grounded to Youkilis. He goes to the bag unassisted. And Lind is retired for the first out.
That sounds so simple, but when you break it all down, Josh Beckett is absolutely right. An executed pitch, and that's what we were talking about earlier tonight, about if you execute it, especially with your fastball, and you make pitches with your fastball, your whole game can blossom. He hasn't thrown too many curveballs.
Rollins up. He starts him with a curveball, as you say that, and gets ahead in the count 0-1.
It's always like that.
Three signs thrown. There's a changeup for strike 2. So now Rollins really confused.
Yeah. Now as a hitter, if I'm in Scott Rollins' shoes, I'm thinking, okay, what's he going to do now? We saw a curveball, we saw a changeup. Get up on that bat, choke up a little bit, and just look for the ball.
They come back with old Uncle Charlie, and it's popped up over near second. Pedroia backs off, makes the catch, and gets rolling. A 3-pitch out for Buchholz. He's got 2 down now in the 6th inning.
A lot of young players, when they are disappointed at the end of spring training and they're sent down to AAA, they kind of sulk and they go down there with a bad attitude, and they don't make themselves a better pitcher or a better player. Pretty obvious to me that Clay Buchholz went down to Pawtucket and said, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of my time there and make myself a better pitcher and force the Red Sox to bring me up. It might just be for one start. But he used his time at AAA to his advantage.
Here's a changeup down low. 3 balls and no strikes. Speak to the importance of what Jason Varitek is doing and helping him along here.
He's just so smart behind the plate. When he was in the WBC a few years ago and Buck Martinez was his manager, Buck told me someday Jason Varitek is going to make a great manager. So smart, so cerebral. I've been watching him tonight. He sets up, he gives the sign, he looks up to see if the batter's looking back or moving around in that box. You see him thinking right now, okay, what are we going to do here? 3-1, we're up 4-1. We've got to challenge the hitter here. Maybe we can sink a fastball. You see that little turn sign there. Turn that fastball over, see if you can get Overbay to roll over on it.
Instead, he takes for strike 2. And it's now a full count after BUCHHOLZ had fallen behind 3-0. Overbay is 2 for 2. Singling and doubling. Varitek sets up outside, and it's right over the heart of the plate and almost takes the pitcher out. A 3 for 3 night for Lyle Overbay.
One guy that BUCHHOLZ has had trouble with. Lyle Overbay singled his first time up, had a ringing double to right center, and now this one right over the glove. BUCHHOLZ has to duck out of the way.
Did he miss his location there?
Yeah, they wanted that fastball down and away. You saw Varitek kind of twist his finger again. That means I want a fastball. I want it to kind of sink away, but that one was up.
Well, Alex Rios comes back up. He has struck out and hit a sacrifice fly in the 4th. That cashed Scott Rowland with the Blue Jays' only run of the game so far. First pitch goes for strike 1. One and one, and the pace slows noticeably whenever somebody gets on.
And that's
100 pitches
that
thrown.
they've wanted to work with him. Slow the game down. Let's process this. Let's make a pitch when we have to.
Here's the 1-1, and that misses for ball 2. A spectator in left center field, and the bleachers out there has dropped what looks to be a jersey at the base of the scoreboard. They don't look very concerned about getting it back. And now all kinds of pieces of clothing are finding their way onto the field. Three balls and a strike. Alex Rios the hitter. Lyle Overbay at first. He's 3 for 3 today. 2 gone, 6th inning, and the Blue Jays are down 4-1. This is the first of a 3-game set between the Red Sox and the Jays. Here's BUCHHOLZ outside, missing, and he walks Rios. So after getting the first 2, gives up the single to Overbay, loses Rios. And now Terry Francona makes his way out, and he's already signaled to the bullpen. It will be Daniel Bard, a flamethrower coming in from the pen in right field. So BUCHHOLZ's day comes to an end. He goes 5 2/3 against the Jays and leaves with 2 on, but his club up by 3. the 6th inning. They've got something going with 2 out, 2 men on, and the starting pitcher is now out as Clay Buchholz watches Daniel Bard come on.
Bard is a big, hard-throwing right-hander, and you can just see the confidence growing each time he goes out there. Terry Francona, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, is using him in more important situations. This certainly is one right here. A couple of runners on, a couple of batters out.
The numbers favor Bard here. Right-handed batters have only 8 hits against him all year long. It's 1-1 on Jose Bautista.
Bard got knocked around by the Phillies on June the 14th, but since then he has been lights out. 12 strikeouts and 3 walks over his last 10 innings.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and he misses up high. 2-1, and that one clocks in at 98 miles an hour.
He'll sink that fastball at times also. Good breaking ball slider. But you got a gear for the number 1.
And Bautista can't catch up to that one. So the count is even at 2-2. Bard was summoned from AAA Pawtucket on the 10th of May, made his debut in Anaheim on the 13th of that month, tossing 2 scoreless innings. He struck out the first man he faced. That was catcher Mike Napoli. Now on 2-2, gets ready and throws to Bautista and blows it right past him. No problem, says Daniel Bard. He wastes Bautista and leaves a pair. And after without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It is 4-1 for Boston after 6 innings of play. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino, wishing a happy belated 90th to Olive Banks, who's watching right here in Toronto this evening. J.D. Drew is the first man up, and he grounds this one toward first. There at the line is Overbay. He gets to it before it goes foul and gets Drew on the tag.
Excellent play by Lyle Overbay. That ball was squirting foul. Ever so slowly, you got to charge that ball hard. Here he comes. Get it before it gets over that line. And then it's easy after that.
He made a very similar play last Sunday against Nick Markakis of the Orioles. And so he gets Drew. And Sean Camp now faces Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia's red hot this month. His OPS, that's on base percentage plus slugging, is well over 1.1. And he lines this shot toward DELLUCCI. And he leaps and makes an incredible catch. What a play by the left fielder. Pat off the end of the bat. I did not think he was going to get there.
I thought that ball was going to hit off the wall. But again, a great break by the left fielder. He is in full stride in about 2 steps and reaches up and takes away extra bases from Pedroia. Outstanding defensive play by DELLUCCI. That's 2 tonight for the Blue Jays left fielder.
A sterling play made by DELLUCCI. And he gets the second out. Pedroia is still looking out there, saying, how did you get to that? And Kevin Youkilis is the batter now. Youkilis has scored twice. He homered in the first and then walked and scored on the Ortiz double in the 5th inning. Strike 2 as he faces Sean Camp. Camp took over for Ricky Romero, who went 4 1/3 tonight against the Red Sox. In the air, left center field. Here is Rios. There goes Youkilis. And some fine relief by Sean Camp is keeping the Blue Jays in this. It's 4-1 Boston. Walks hurt Ricky Romero tonight. He walked 5. 2 of them came in to score, as Rod Barajas is the first batter here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Standing in against the hard-throwing Daniel Bard. David DELLUCCI on deck for the Blue Jays. Marco Scudero will bat 3rd. This one golfed to center field. On comes Baldelli. And there is Drew in front of him to make the catch.
Middle relief has really been a strong point for the Boston Red Sox this year. That was a part of their team that they really set out in the wintertime to make better. They made the trade with the Kansas City Royals and got Ramirez. They brought up Bard to pitch some interesting innings. Manny Del Carmen has put together a good season so far, pitching middle relief. They've got a lot of arms to help Terry Francona get to Jonathan Papelbon.
0-1 on DELLUCCI. And there's a breaking ball for strike 2. And they really picked up Ramirez with a part that they weren't even intending to use in Coco Crisp.
Good scouting. And really having a plan, knowing that Jacoby Ellsbury is going to be your everyday center fielder. They've got a piece in Coco Crisp that they no longer can use, but they recognize a team that needed a leadoff hitter and a center fielder. It had some strength there in the Kansas City Royals.
That looked like it hit DELLUCCI.
I don't know what Chuck Merriweather is signaling right there.
They are calling a strikeout of DELLUCCI, and it looked like it hit him in the foot.
Yeah, this happened a couple of years ago. If a batter makes an attempt and swings at strike 3 and it ends up hitting him, that's a live ball. It's not a hit by a pitch.
So the question is, did he make an attempt? And there is the answer. He easily made an attempt.
Certainly went around, and I think that's what Chuck Merriweather was signaling, that he went around, that was a strike. Heads up play by Varitek to run the ball down and get the out over at first base.
And so DELLUCCI strikes out. Bard opens Scudero with a fastball in for strike 1.
When I saw Chuck Merriweather making that sign, I don't know if he was saying foul tip or the ball hit him, but on that replay you could see that he was signaling that DELLUCCI went around and he swung and it was a strike.
Until then, it appeared DELLUCCI was waiting around for some kind of an appeal to see if he in fact did go around.
Or where do I go? The ball hit me.
That's right.
On the third strike, if you swing at a ball and
if you offer at it,
you're out. But the defense has to make the play over at first.
Big Daniel Bard with 2 strikes on Marco Scudero. 2 down, 7th inning. 4-1 for Boston. .97 miles an hour.
And up. Tough to get on top of a fastball when it's at the top of the strike zone like that.
When you've got a heater like that one, Pat, you probably don't have to throw the breaking stuff very often.
Yeah, you should, because you've got to put it in the mind of the hitter. And what the hitter has to do is say, okay, I've got to be really short because that ball is going to be on top of me. He's going to supply all the power. Just want to make sure that I get the barrel of the bat out in front. You don't do that by swinging harder. You do that by swinging shorter. Marco Scudero has more base on balls than strikeouts this year. You can see why. His approach at the plate. He's very quiet. Not a whole lot of extra movement. And his back goes right to the ball.
That got him. Strike 3 on Scudero, and down go the Blue Jays. 1-2-3 in the 7th inning. Still 4-1 for Boston.
About a strikeout per inning. Fastball, slider, splitter. And then the first guy he will face is the big man, David Ortiz.
Big Papi is 2 for 3. He's singled and doubled and driven in 2. It's the Red Sox up 4-1. Here comes the 8th inning. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Brad Penny goes for the Red Sox. And Mark Sebczynski gets his 3rd big league start. He'll go for Toronto as Brian Talent is pushed back into the bullpen. On Sunday, this series concludes with Roy Halladay, 10-3 on the year, going up against John Lester. So far this year, the Blue Jays are 2-4 against the Red Sox. They took 2 of 3 at a series here at Rogers Center, and then dropped all 3 in Boston, their first visit there. That, in fact, was the beginning of a 9-game road trip that did not yield a single victory.
First time in Blue Jay history, a road trip of 9 games or more that happened. And I remember when the team came home from that road trip and we were talking to Cito Gaston about it, and he said, you know, the hitting is still fine. We were getting guys on base, we just couldn't cash them in.
He also said they were messed up by Tim Wakefield's knuckleball in the opener.
That's right.
There's strike 3. Accardo gets Ortiz looking. Big Papi hangs around, maybe to question the call, but he's gone for the 2nd time on strikes.
Averages about a strikeout an inning. That time just perfectly placed on the outside part of the plate. Rob Barajas holds it right there. Look at that. Right on the corner. Chuck Merriweather with the emphatic punch out.
Here's a defensive change as David DELLUCCI comes out, and John McDonald heads out to left field. I don't think in my time here I've ever seen John McDonald play in the outfield.
Here's the only thing I can think of that maybe there was a trade, or maybe on that catch he made in left field, dove for the ball and wasn't feeling too well.
Swing and a miss from Jason Bay.
Here's a catch that I was talking about. Great effort by DELLUCCI, and he comes down hard. Now, he didn't show any signs that he was injured. So right now we can just guess why he was taken out here.
That catch was made last inning on a line shot by Dustin Pedroia. But John McDonald into left field. That tells you Vernon Wells can't be feeling very well at all, because they have a Gold Glove center fielder available to go out and play, unless he's just too sick to go. Here's the 2-2 to Bay. Swung on and missed, and he strikes out. Bit of a rough homecoming for Jason Bay. The Canadian is 0 for 4, and he has now struck out 3 times.
Ricardo looked like his splitter that he finishes them off with. Again, in a great spot, down and away, making Bay reach for it.
According to Scott Carson's quick research, this is the first time that John McDonald has played an outfield position at the major league level. Here's a base hit to center field by Lowell. Don't you think the curious Blue Jay fan is sitting at home going, hit one to Johnny Mack to see how he handles it?
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. It probably feels really strange to him right now. The batter seems so far away when you've played infield your whole life and you go into the outfield. There's Johnny Mack.
The catcher Veritek has walked twice. He's grounded out once. Lowell the runner at first after a 2-out single. Here's the 0-1 pitch, grounded to Scudero. He underhands to Hill to get the force, and that's the top of the 8th. The Red Sox get a base hit, nothing more, and in the last of the inning, Aaron Hill leads off for Toronto. Okajima.
Their only left-hander in the bullpen now. And Okajima has been a very good pitcher over the last few years for Terry Francona. Very deceptive delivery towards home plate. He's sneaky fast, sneaky quick. And what makes him effective is he's good against left-handers and right-handers. Durable, reliable. And since the start of the 2007 season, he ranks in the top 10 of all major league relievers in ERA.
Sneaky quick indeed, but Okajima rarely, if ever, hits 90 on the radar gun. He got that fastball by Aaron Hill for strike one at 83.
Yeah, watch some of the swings from the Blue Jay batter. Deceptive windup. Ball just seems to come out of nowhere the way he kind of follows through and as he pushes his way towards home plate.
Big break on that one. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Hill.
And he comes out of the stretch, so that's okay. But then he kind of winds up. He throws that glove at you. Looks straight down at the dirt. One of his pitches that he'll use for strikeouts is a good hard splitter. That looked like it, that he bounced up there to Hill.
Comes back with a heater. Hill gets a piece. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
In 2 major league seasons, his ERA combined just 2.4. Good numbers for a guy late in the game.
You know, Pat, the bottom of the order for the Blue Jays had to face Daniel Bard. If they get around to having to deal with Okajima, what a change in velocity going from a right-hander who routinely hits 96 or 97 to a left-hander who barely touches 87, 88.
Deception, stuff-wise, there's a good pitch down and away, and then if you get through the 8th inning, you turn around and you have to face Jonathan Papelbon.
That's right.
Who can rush it up there 95, 96 miles an hour.
Two and two on Hill. He's the first man up for the Blue Jays here in the 8th inning. Okajima with the pitch off the end of the bat into right field. J.D. Drew backs up a few steps and makes the catch, 1 away. Your chance to watch out-of-market games comes with MLB.tv, the highest quality of live baseball available on the internet. For more information, check out BlueJays.com. You can catch 100 out-of-market games every week live on your computer with MLB.tv. For more information, go to BlueJays.com, where baseball is always on. With 1 down, Adam Lind comes back up, and Lind is 1 for 3.
Just so tough to square a ball up against Okajima because of the stuff that he throws up there.
Lind doubled in the 4th inning. Was thrown out, though, trying to advance on a comebacker to Clay Buchholz. There's a swing and a miss, 1 and 2. So he was erased trying to advance to 3rd. Scott Rowland ended up standing at 1st on a fielder's choice, and the next batter, Lyle Overbay, hit a ground rule double that bounced off the top of the wall in center field and held Rowland at 3rd base. He would have scored easily, but he eventually came in on a sacrifice fly by Alex Rios. Still the only run of the game for the Blue Jays. Here's the 1-2 pitch, grounded to Pedroia. He's up and over to 1st, and Lind is gone, 2 gone.
Jamie, we just have word now from Jay Stenhouse, who came up here, about David DeLucci. This play right here, that breaking ball that hit him off the foot when he went out to play defense last inning, had some discomfort. You can see that ball right off the top of his foot. No padding right there. Tries to shake it off. When he went out to try and play defense, signaled into the bench that he could not, and that's why he came out. So it was an injury. It's just not the one that we thought.
So thank you to Jay Stenhouse for the update. As DeLucci is out of the game, replaced in left field by John McDonald. Here now Scott Rowland. 8th inning of play, and the Blue Jays are down by 3 in the opener against the Red Sox. Off the plate, ball 2. Since they last met here, the Red Sox have gone 25 and 12. That's their record following a series that ended on the last day of May in this ballpark. They have managed to take off ever since. And like we touched on at the beginning of the program, it's interesting how you approach the All-Star break. Teams that are going well want to keep playing.
Right.
Teams that aren't going well, and that was the case with the Blue Jays, going 2 and 8 on the road trip, want to take a little time off and maybe change the batteries.
You know, they talk about, okay, it's time for 4 days off to kind of like recharge as Roland rips that ball right by Mike Lowell at third base. Got himself into a fastball count, just looking for the ball. Nice short approach, short swing. No chance for Lowell, another Gold Glove third baseman, to get that one. Good approach, good at bat right there by Scott Rolen.
And he doubles in front of a man who's in a groove tonight, and that is Lyle Overbay, who's 3 for 3. Overbay with a couple of singles and a double. So let's see if he can keep it going here against left-hander Hideki Okajima. 8th inning in the Blue Jays trail by 3. Man in scoring position. First pitch is high. Ball 1-2 Overbay. All 3 of Overbay's hits came against right-hander Clay Buchholz. There's a strike. That evens the count at 1-1. On the 21st of June in Washington, Overbay had a 5 RBI game, but has not driven in a run since. That's a stretch of, I believe, 17 games. Here's a chance now in the 8th inning. Grounds that one hard to the first baseman, Youkilis. He'll take it himself. And that ends the 8th inning, leaving a man in scoring position. Still 4-1 for the Red Sox. You're watching Blue Jays baseball. For the Jays this evening.
We saw some heat from Daniel Bard. Here comes some heat from Brandon Lee. Mid-90s fastball.
Spot on there with a strike against Baldelli. He leads off the inning. Nick Green is on deck, and J.D. Drew right behind him.
League at times has been unhittable. When he's got that split finger throwing for strikes and he's got the opposition swinging at it, he can pile up the strikeouts with the best of them. He is tied on the team with 5 holds.
See, that's nasty. He gets a swing there. It's a ball and 2 strikes now on Baldelli.
You have to gear yourself up for the fastball. So you got to look for the fastball. So you got to start your swing a little early, and then he drops that little splitty on you. That's why you see a lot of swing and misses.
If you were facing a guy like League with such good late movement, would you do something like move up in the box or adjust, make some kind of an adjustment?
Yeah, I'd bunt.
He'd be tough to bunt on,
Yeah,
wouldn't he?
he would, because for the most part he keeps the ball down in the strike zone. He's got good run and sink on his fastball along with that split.
He makes quick work of ball deli.
That's what we're talking about right there. It looks like a fastball coming in. It's going to be about knee high, and then boom, right down on the dirt. Tough to get on top of that.
Baldelli's seen that stuff before in his time with Tampa Bay. He's got on strikes one away, and now Nick Green, who is 0 for 3, takes ball one inside. Green has struck out twice, both times against Ricky Romero, and he flied out to right field, facing Sean Kemp. Grounds that to Hill, who picks it off the turf and throws out Green for the second out. So getting a good look tonight is Mark Zebchinski, who's faced Tampa Bay. He's faced Baltimore, and he will face the Red Sox tomorrow and pitch in Toronto for the first time. His first 2 big league starts came on the road. As J.D. Drew takes a strike.
One of the things I've been impressed with is his poise on the mound. Doesn't look rattled. You saw that shot of him right there in the dugout. Just he seems to be as calm as can be.
He might be turning inside, but
yeah,
he's not showing it. And you're talking about a kid who spent all of last year at Single A. Pitched predominantly in Double A this year and only got 2 starts at Triple A. So he's made a massive jump.
Yeah, he really has. He's young. He's been on that top step all game, watching these Red Sox hitters, watching how Romero pitched to him.
1 and 2 on Drew. Here comes League, and he just blows it up there with some high cheese. Look at Drew just tossing the bat in disgust. He's a victim of a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. after 2 rounds at Turnberry. Well, 3 runs is the difference right now, and when it's the Red Sox leading in the 9th inning, that often means it's time for Little Pappy, Jonathan Papelbon, their all-star closer, fresh off a victory in the all-star game for the American League side.
Great numbers for Papelbon. 1-1, an ERA under 2. He has only blown 2 saves all season long. May 23rd versus the Mets. In that Baltimore meltdown. Remember that when the Red Sox lost that 10-run lead?
11-10, yeah.
And
they blew a 10-run lead.
That was Papelbon who picked up the blown save in that game.
Rios, Bautista, and Barajas scheduled for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th inning, down by 3, and up against one of the best in the game. Since 2006, only Francisco Rodriguez and Trevor Hoffman have more saves than the man on the mound.
He's a lot like Brandon League, or Brandon League's a lot like him, meaning that he can throw very hard. And he's got a put-away pitch in that splitter that he has. I think Papelbon's a little bit more polished and a little bit more refined than League. If League can throw consistent strikes like Papelbon, he can do the same thing. He has averaged about 4 blown saves a year for the last 3 years. 2 in the first, 2 in the second. I know Boston was all up in arms that he had 2 blown saves in the first half, but that's been his MO. That's been his average over the last 3 years.
1-1 on Rios. Papelbon with the pitch. Fly to right field. Drew rushing over, and at the line makes the catch. Rios is gone, 1 away.
Well, closers since 2006. It's Jonathan Papelbon with the most. Joe Nathan right behind him with 135. And I like to look at save percentage. And since that start of the 2006 season, same as that graphic right there, his save percentage ranks 4th best in baseball behind K-Rod, Nathan, and who else? Mariano Rivera has the best save percentage over the last 3 years.
Bautista, the right fielder, 0 for 3. Reached on a throwing error by Mike Lowell in the second. Papelbon leans in. He sets at the letters. Here comes the pitch. And it's ripped to right and out of play. .41 strikeouts for Papelbon. Ties him for 10th in the American League among relief pitchers. An impressive total for a guy who really only pitches 1 inning.
There was some talk a couple of years ago of putting him in the starting rotation. Putting him back in the starting rotation. Good decision by Boston to leave him where he's at. I mean, it can be intimidating for a team, you know, when you see this guy truck it in from the bullpen with the stuff that he brings to the mound. You know you've got to string together a couple of hits, which is going to be hard to do, and then hope for a long ball to just get it tied and get him out of there.
This ball in the air into shallow right field. Drew comes in. Bautista's gone, and there are 2 away. Those who follow the Red Sox probably think it was, you know, years ago that they thought of putting him into the rotation. To think of Papelbon in a starter's role now just doesn't seem right.
Foreign, right?
But at the same time, Mariano Rivera came up with the Yankees as a starting pitcher.
And there was a setup man.
Yep. And now the Blue Jays get a ground ball from Barajas, and that is the ball game as Papelbon comes in and locks down His 24th save of the year. Big Poppy with a big double in the 5th scores 2, and the Red Sox take the opener 4-1. For Pat Tabler, Sam Cosentino, and Scott Carson, I'm Jamie Campbell saying thanks for watching and good night from Toronto. Stand by now for Sportsnet Connected.